Welcome back to SnowRunner, everybody. So as I said, we're going to do North Peak National Park exploration. We're just going to go around the perimeter like we always do, use the radar scanner, pick up all watchtowers and any tasks we come across. Hopefully we can get it all done in this episode. That's the goal. I am not using my wheel. I don't really feel like it. I don't want to drag it upstairs. I have a little bit of time to record before my wife gets home from work. My boys are both asleep. The youngest is still being a little bit of a pain in the butt, but hopefully he doesn't make a lot of noise and he goes to sleep. But there's a task right up here, so we'll go grab this first. And then we'll go back and go around the perimeter. Oh, I drove past it. Shit. You know, I really don't know this map, so let's keep it daytime so I can see. Is this the Mac? Fun fact, I actually live really close to a Mac Volvo plant. Actually, I think it's just Volvo now. It used to be Mac. Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't usually do this, but I do want this truck, so oh, it's still not totally repaired? Oh, fuck, I repaired the wrong thing. Alright, delivered to the East Service Center. Where the hell's that? Well, I'm just gonna let it sit here for now. It's at least repaired. But I don't really want to drag that around with me, and I don't want to just drive straight to that, because it's kind of not the point of this episode. So I'm just going to leave it there for now, and we'll come back and pick that up later. So I got some things to talk about for sure. Power Wash Simulator came out with a Santa's Workshop level. That was fun. Did that today. It's free, so that's cool. It's pretty big. It has like over 500 dings, if you know what I'm talking about. So it takes a while. It took me quite a long time to finish it, at least 4 hours, if not more. It's a lot, but I enjoyed it, so it was a lot of fun. And we got an announcement for Expedition's release date. It's March 5th. Yeah, March 5th of 2024. So that's coming out soon. It's pretty exciting. There's lots of games out that I want to play. Working through Spider-Man 2 right now on the channel. I need to finish off the Assassin's Creeds, which I'm close. I'm almost done Odyssey. Well, not almost. I still have a lot to do on Odyssey, but it's really mainly just trophy cleanup on Odyssey right now. I've finished the story and everything. And then I have to do all the DLC, which is a lot. There's like 92 trophies for all of the stuff in that game. And then I have to play like 1 or 2 DLCs for Valhalla, but I already have Valhalla completed with Platinum, so that shouldn't take that long. And then once I do that, and once I finish Spider-Man 2, then I'll play Mirage on the channel. And then... oh, should I have? I've been talking, not scanning. And then... I don't really know what we're going to do after that, but there is still other games I want to play, like the Avatar game I'm definitely interested in. What else came out? I don't know, but then obviously Expeditions I want to play, and I still, you know, am on the fence about playing Mud Runner, but that'll probably be when I don't have anything else to play and I need something for the channel, for the trophy hunt side of the channel. Yeah, because if you don't know, SnowRunner always goes up every other day. It's just you know, I have all the trophies for this game, had them for a long time, and I'm just, you know, playing through all the regions to get 100% on a save file. And you know, I've been behind for a while. I took a long break from this game for a while, and then whenever I came back, I had stopped on a mirror, which I guess you can tell why I stopped there. So I finished that off. That was like the first SnowRunner I put on the channel aside from my Logitech Wheel videos. But yeah, so, and then I kind of just kept doing it, and I don't know, it's done really well. So, and I enjoy SnowRunner, so I'm just going to keep playing it, and I'm going to keep uploading it, and we're going to have fun with it. When we run out of stuff to do on this save file, because, you know, we've caught up and we got all the regions completed, then we will start a hard mode and do a hard mode playthrough. And then when a new region comes out, we'll pause the hard mode playthrough and go back to this save file. I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, that's the plan. But if I do need something to play, trophy hunting wise, on the channel, then I will. I wonder if I can scoot up through there. I probably can. If I can, I'm doing that because that will just save time. So yeah, so if I need something for the channel, then, you know, it might be Mud Runner, because I would like to play that game and get all the trophies, and I feel like it would just be cool to have all the trophies for that. I believe the game has trophies. I don't know why it wouldn't. But then, and then get all the trophies for Expeditions when that comes out, because I do plan on playing that as well. I know it's very different than SnowRunner. It's supposed to be more focused on scouting, and you like build your camp up and all kinds of stuff. It looks really cool. You can like release air pressure from your tires, and like there's like a ground anchor you can place if you need to like winch yourself out of something. You can like place a ground anchor and then winch to that point. It's so awesome. Like, why SnowRunner doesn't have those features is insane. If SnowRunner had those features, SnowRunner would be amazing. Like, imagine being able to like reduce your tire pressure on SnowRunner, or be able to place a, like, you know, ground anchor winch point. Like, it would just be so good. I don't know. But yeah, so I don't really have a whole lot of plans for the future. There are definitely games I want to play. I'm not really in any rush to get to them. I just kind of play things at my own pace, and, you know, this is really just a hobby for me. I do have a job, and that job is probably going to pick up a lot more. I'm probably going to start getting a lot more hours there after the holidays, so, you know, uploads may slow down. There may be days I miss, but don't worry, I'll still keep uploading videos, because I do enjoy doing this. It's just a fun thing to do. I've already gotten way more subscribers than I ever thought I would, so thank you for that. If you are a subscriber, I appreciate you. You don't need to do any more than that. Just watch my videos, leave a like if you want, comment if you find something to comment about. Definitely let me know. I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be like such a cool thing. It would just, like, it would be neat to just, like, you know, say you have a monetized YouTube channel, I guess. Not that I would really make really hardly any money at that amount of subs, but, you know, it's, which I understand your sub count really doesn't matter. It's really your views that generates your revenue on YouTube. I do understand that, but having a higher sub count obviously has more people that get pushed your video, and then, you know, they may watch it, and then the YouTube algorithm will continue to push it to other people to recommend it. So, you know, having a higher sub count is definitely worthwhile, but it's not necessary exactly to make a decent income from YouTube. But even if I would ever get to that point and actually made a decent, like, livable income from YouTube, I would still probably keep a job, just like a side part-time job. Like it would probably just still be at the theater that I work at, just doing live stuff, doing events every now and then, just for fun, just to get out of the house, and, you know, do some things. But who knows? That's all speculatory if that would ever even happen anyways. So. But either way, the chances are that I am going to be working a lot more, more like 40 hours a week, which is way more than I get now. There's definitely some weeks where I don't. Damn it, I keep forgetting to. There are some weeks where I don't get any hours at all, just because there's either nothing going on, or see, that bothers me. I'm gonna have to go back for that. Like there's either nothing going on, or you know, I just wasn't scheduled for anything. But I have, you know, like formally applied for a position to be an actual employee of this theater, because right now I just work for a sound company that's contracted to do tech stuff there, which that works pretty well for the theater. But they want to have a couple like techs that really know the building and really know, you know, the whole ins and outs of everything, which I do. So there's a really good chance that I'll get it. And the one, like the executive director has known me for a very long time. I used to work there back in like 2013, before I had kids, like before I was married, everything. So she knows me. She knows I'm capable of that position and that job. She knows I'm responsible and all that stuff. So there's a very good chance that I'll get it. But well, we never know. They're not deciding, and they're not making any decisions or changing anything until after the holidays. So she just told me to just, you know, just wait. In January they'll make a decision or whatever. So that's all good. Here's the garage. Is it just available? Yeah, I guess so. I guess I need to go. It won't let me just warp to it, so I should, just in case, let's trigger it so that if we do have to recover, we recover here. There we go. Yeah, so we do have to do some construction, but at least we can use a garage. Alright, so let's keep going up this way. I usually do that instead of waypoints, so whenever I hit that waypoint, that's when I know I need to scan. I just haven't been doing it. But anyway, that's kind of it. But yeah, like Expeditions, it looks really good. I'm a little, you know, like I'm a little I don't know. People are saying it's like not an open world game, and like it's just kind of almost like the trial system that this game has from the main menu, like the trials that you can do. Like they're just like set little maps with like a set goal, which I'm not against. I think that's fine. But then other people are saying, like, they're saying it's or something like it's, I don't know. I'm confused. I guess we don't really know. It hasn't really been confirmed by Saber or anything. All the only things we've gotten are the 2 trailers they've released. So I don't know. I don't really have any other information other than that. But it looks cool. So looks like it'll be pretty fun game. And I do honestly enjoy this part of the game, like just driving around like this and, you know, defogging the map. I do enjoy it. It is like one of my favorite parts of a new region. I also just like driving this F750. This F750 is just too good. I mean, it's overpowered, sure, but it is a mod. If you're curious, you can find the link to the mod in my description. I do use a couple mods, but nothing crazy, nothing like extreme. They're just, you know, trucks that I like that just tweak them a little bit better. I still do use vanilla trucks though. I have quite a few vanilla trucks that I like to use. I do use the Kenworth. I'll definitely try out the Mack once I get it to my garage or whatever. I love the Tega B. That's like one of my favorite vanilla trucks. And I know it's technically not vanilla. Technically that is a DLC truck. But I refer to all trucks that are in the game from the developers as vanilla, just because this game has a mod system and, you know. Yeah, so that's the only reason why I say vanilla. I know it's not really vanilla, but it's just what I say. Okay. So there's chemical barrels. That's just a water tower. Interesting. Alright, we'll just keep driving around. Drive into here. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, just, you know, sorry, I don't think people really care if I use the wheel or not. I mean, I do enjoy playing with my wheel, believe me, I really do. And if I could just leave my wheel set up all the time where I play SnowRunner, I would do it in a heartbeat, but I can't. It's literally like the main living space of our house, so. And my children would just constantly mess with it, and like that wheel, while it's not the most expensive steering wheel, I mean, it's not cheap. Like that whole setup was probably like $400 at least, because I think the wheel was $250 with the shifter. I don't remember exactly. The shifter you have to buy separately. And I did. When I bought the wheel, I added the shifter on. And then I bought the stand later. I had the wheel for a little while, and I used like an end. We have like end tables for our couch that only have. They're kind of like the. It's just like a flat top, and then it has like a, I guess like a C-shaped leg base. Like it's. I don't know how to explain it. But like it's basically like you could slide the one end under the couch, so like the table part is like over your lap while you're sitting on the couch, if that makes sense. And I used that for a while, and it worked fine. But it I don't know, it made a lot of noise, like from the wheel like clicking. It would like resonate through the table. So if I like recorded while I was using my wheel, it sounded like crap. And not that I really recorded back then, but I was trying to record like the there's that boat. I was trying to record that like Logitech video, and you know, it was just noisy. So yeah, so the stand, I don't remember how much the stand was. It was probably like $100 though, easy. So yeah, it's just, you know, it was not a cheap purchase, that's for sure. I freaking bought that whenever that was like during like peak COVID. Well, not really peak COVID. It was, well, I guess it kind of was peak COVID. It was like late 2020 when I bought this game. I don't remember when this game actually came out, but I didn't get it until like late 2020. Like it was all like, you know, Christmas time when I had got this game. And well, it may not have been that late. I don't know, but at the time I had been unemployed for a while because, you know, COVID. I had told this story before. I'm not going to go into the whole story. I don't remember what video I told this story on, but I don't know, maybe one day if you binge my videos, you'll find it. I know I talked about it when I was in Maine. I know I talked about it some, I think even in Ontario, in the beginning of Ontario, I may have talked about it. I might have talked about it in the beginning of this region too, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm not going to go into all that, but I did work at a movie theater as an operations manager, and obviously COVID shut down movie theaters, so I like pretty much lost my job. And I kind of just stayed. I mean, I lived on. I was getting the fat unemployment checks that everyone was getting, which was crazy. Which I was making. I was getting more money from unemployment at that time that I was for that I would have been even if I like still had my job. Like COVID never happened. I was making more money on unemployment. It was crazy, and I had that unemployment for like a year. So like just lived off the unemployment. And then well, I don't know if it was a year. I don't remember how long the unemployment lasted for, but anyway, I was kind of like tired of just being at home all the time, and I just was trying to find a job anywhere I could, and I got a job at a freaking Martin's grocery store, and it was in the deli. Oh my god, one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my entire life. It was so bad, and I actually ended up just quitting it because it's the only job I've ever quit. There's two jobs that I've had my entire life that the one I basically was fired or terminated, but that was a temp agency in a warehouse, so like I didn't give a shit about that. And I was also like 18 at the time, so like I didn't care, and I already had a job lined up that I was going back to, which, fun fact, was the movie theater. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. But so yeah, I was terminated from that job, but then this job at Martin's, you know, I was like in my 30s. I was 31 maybe, I guess. Yeah, I would have almost been 31. And actually, no, I think I was 31 because I had worked there from like December of 2020 to like about my birthday, like April of 2021. It wasn't very long. And oh, we're back at the garage. Look at that. All right, well, let's go this way. I see that water tower there, but I'm assuming you probably get up to it from over here. Oh yeah, so yeah, I didn't work there very long, but anyway, it was a very small Martin's. It was like one of those, I don't know if you have grocery stores like this where you live, but it used to be a Food Lion, and obviously if you know anything about Food Lion went out of business, and Martin's bought the old Food Lion building and turned it into a Martin's, and they called it like it was a smaller Martin's store. Like new Martin's stores or Giant stores, Martin's and Giant are the same. Newer Martin stores are much larger, and you know, they have like all of their separate like boutiques or whatever you want to call them, like the you know, produce department, meat department, deli, bakery. They all have their own separate like locations, and this Martin's, the bakery and the deli were combined. Now I was technically just a deli employee. I didn't have to do any bakery stuff, but we would often get people that would want like cakes personalized and stuff, and damn, how the hell do I get up there? I guess you just gotta go for it through the woods. Let's just try and drive up through the woods. So yeah, so like we get people, and when you worked there at night, you were by yourself. There was no one else with you. So you, like, the shift would start at like 3 o'clock, and the deli closed at 9. So like you would be out of there. You would be closing, and you would be walking out at like 9 o'clock. Like that was how it worked. But you were there by yourself. You didn't have anyone to be with you because it wasn't a very big store. It wasn't very busy. It was in a very small town. So yeah, it wasn't a very busy store, and yeah. So anyway, you were there by yourself. So sometimes you'd get people that would come up, and they'd want like a cake personalized or something, and like I wasn't gonna do that because I had no experience doing that, and I also don't have like the neatest handwriting, and also writing with like icing is not as easy as it looks. So like it's fine. The managers on duty, like, of the store are supposed to know how to do it. Like it's a requirement for Martin's. So you would just have to call one of them, and they'd come up and do it, and that's fine. But it was just always annoying. Like you always had to deal with that shit. And then like it was just awful. Like having to clean all the slicers and clean everything by yourself was horrible. Like absolutely horrible. and you would have to like temp check everything, which I totally get. Like food safety is very important, and I don't, I don't mean to sound like I'm downplaying that at all. But like what I got in trouble for, quote unquote, in trouble, was we had to, like, if we had any rotisserie chickens left, we would have to like tear like the breast meat out of them, kind of like tear it up, because they would use that for chicken salad, which if you've never had chicken salad from Martin's, it is actually really good. But anyway, you would have to do that, and you would also have to sometimes like leave some chickens full, and like you would still have to cool them. And they had like this whole method for like cooling food, and it would have to reach a certain temperature in a certain amount of time, and you'd have to use like a combination of like the freezer and the walk-in fridge to achieve that. And like there was times where, it would be, like you wouldn't pull the chickens off until like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, and like they're not going to cool down to that temperature in that hour time. It's just not going to happen. But they will get down to the temperature in the required time, but like I'm not going to be there to check it when it's at that temperature. So like I would always, and I wasn't the only one that did it, it was literally how I was trained to do it. You would basically just like fudge the number, like say it was at the temperature, so like it was logged that way, but like it wasn't actually at the temperature. But I promise you it would have been fine. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It would have been in the fridge, everything would have been fine, we wouldn't have gotten sick from it, whatever. But this one manager, he was such a dick. He wasn't a deli manager at all. He was just like one of the store managers, and he was very inappropriate all the time, especially around minors. He was just, I hated the guy. And he would always, and like I didn't even realize, part of it was partly my fault, because usually if I knew he was the manager, like the closing manager, I would be super cautious and I wouldn't fill any of that stuff out until, I had checked it the last time before I left. But I had done it a little early this night, and he, for some reason, he came back and like was checking the deli, and he temp checked my stuff, and he was like, "Did you temp check this and write this down?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like he got into it with me, and I was just kind of like, "Listen, it'll be at the temperature it needs to be at in time. Like it's almost there anyway. It's just, I'm ready to leave. Like I'm pretty much done." So I just wrote it down that it was good, and it'll be good, and it's not going to hurt anything. And he was just like, "Well, it's really important that this is done correctly, and I'm going to have to write you up for this." And he was like, I was like finishing, I was just finishing up some like dishes, I guess, that I had to do. And he was like, "Just stop what you're doing right now and go clock out and leave." And I was just like, "All right, whatever, fuck you, dude." And I left. I didn't say that to him. I'm not that kind of person. But I was just like, okay. So I left, and then the next day he had called me to like come in and make a statement, like write down a statement. And this other manager she was always so nice, and she actually like she would always come and talk to me and stuff, and I really did like her a lot. And like I'm not the kind of person that gets in trouble ever. Like it's just not me. I'm not like a defiant person. I don't really break the rules. It's never been something I've done. And so, I felt bad about it, obviously. And like I told this lady, because she was the manager, that I had to like go in and make this statement to, because he wasn't there. And I was like, "Listen, like this isn't something I usually do," but I was like, it's kind of just what everybody did there. And it's not like it wouldn't have cooled down. I was like, this, like you put something in there, but then we're supposed to leave. We're supposed to be clocked out by 9 o'clock. So like I can't check the temperature and make sure it's down to the temperature. Like what do I do in that situation? And she was just like, "Yeah, it's really kind of not well thought out." She was like, "I agree that it would have been to the temperature that it needed to be at in the time." And she's like, "But he wants you to make this statement, and he's already contacted like HR and everything about it." So she's like, "There's nothing I can do." So I was like, whatever. So I made my statement, and then like I came home, and my wife was home. I think she would have had to have been, because obviously we had kids that I couldn't just leave at home. But I came home, and I was like, honestly, like I was like, "Jess, I just like," my wife's name is Jess. I was like, I don't want to go back. Like I really don't want to go back there. I was like, that I cannot stand that manager. And I was like, and he is going to like like I'll never be left alone in that place. Like he's always gonna come check on everything I do, and I just like I don't want to do it. And she looked at me and she was like, honestly, we don't even need you to work there. Like we're doing just fine. Just quit. And honestly, I called, and he was actually the manager when I had called. Like I think he just came in later that day or something. Because I had called and I asked for the manager on duty. And oops, I didn't actually mean to do that. And I guess I already picked that one up. But yeah, I called and I was like, hey, I was like, it's Adam. You know, I'm the one from the deli. And I was like, I'm just not coming back. I was like, don't expect me back. I won't be back. My manager's name was Tammy. I was like, let Tammy know that I won't be back and I'm sorry. And he was like, are you sure? Because, you know, they're probably just going to, you know, give you a warning and everything will be fine and you won't have to worry about it. And it's like, honestly, I don't need the job and I hate this place, so I don't want to come back. And he was just like, okay. So funny. But yeah, that's the only time I ever did that. I've never quit a job other than that. I already picked that one up too. So, you know, I feel like you kind of haven't really, like, if you haven't experienced that in your life, like, you know, I mean, listen, I know it's not good to just quit a job like that, but I mean, my resume is fine. I don't need that Martin's Deli job on my resume. Like, it's totally fine to just, I'm never going to try to work there again. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care. So that was really the only reason. I would never do that for like the theater that I work at. I would never do that there. I enjoy every one of those people that I work with there. I would never want to screw anyone over, and I would never want to screw over my own opportunity to ever have a job there, you know. So I would never hurt my reputation in that sense. But that's also something that I love doing. I never wanted to work in that deli. I just wanted to do it to try to make a little bit of money and get out of my house instead of being around my kids all day long. Because my oldest wasn't in school at the time. He was still too young. He didn't start school until 2021. So, yeah. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I'm sure you guys probably have some crazy stories like that as well, but yeah, the freaking temp agency that I worked for at that warehouse. Oh my god, that job. I'm gonna hear about a horrible job. That was my one and only warehouse job. I will never work another warehouse job ever again. But this warehouse job was probably like, I mean, it was probably the worst warehouse job you could ever work. The shift that I had was 5:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Which, granted, that's not bad. It's kind of nice to get out of work at like 1:30 in the afternoon. But like, I had to be up at like 4:30 in the morning because it was like a 30-ish minute drive to get to this warehouse from my house. I lived with my parents at the time. I was only like 18. It was right after I had moved back home. Well, I was 19. It was right after I had moved back home from college. So I was like 19, almost 20 when I had started working at this warehouse, and it was awful. I only worked there for a couple months too, and then the movie theater was opening back up and they needed people to run projection, like the film projectors, because things weren't digital still yet. So everything still used 35mm film, and I knew how to do it, so I was an easy in. I was hired immediately, and yeah, I worked there for the next, what, 10, almost 10 years, because that was 2011 when I started working there. But anyway, I was actually, whenever we shut down because of COVID, I was the only person that had still worked there from the very first time that that theater had reopened. So it's kind of crazy. No, it was May of 2010 when I went back there, and I moved back home in December of 2009. So yeah, I only worked at that Nutrisystem warehouse for like 4 or 5 months, something like that. But yeah, like I just said there, it was a Nutrisystem warehouse. The Nutrisystem is like a diet program where like you can pick, like you pick your food and then like it gets packaged up and sent to you, and it's all like pre-packaged food. Oh my god, dude, it was horrible. You would have to like pick the orders and place them in the boxes, and they had to be placed in the boxes in a certain way. It was so bad. You were just literally for 8 hours just on your feet back and forth picking things out of boxes, stacking them in a box neatly, and like pushing it down the line. Absolutely horrible work. I don't know how people did it, but it was bad. Like, I never wanted to do it again. Like, oh my god, it was awful. But yeah, so there would just be days where I'd be on my way to work and I would just be so tired and I just didn't want to go, and I would call out of work driving to work, and I'd turn around and go home. And then one of the days, you could only call out so many times. It was like, I think a call out would get you like 3 points or something, and like 12 points was termination. So if you called out 4 times, you would be at 12 points and you'd be terminated. And the last time I called out, like I knew I was going to be fired. I just didn't care. I didn't want the job. I had already had the next job lined up, and I was going to quit anyway. Well, I was going to actually do like a 2-week thing, like a 2-week notice, like you should do, but I didn't because I just didn't care. So I called out, and then literally like at noon that day, I got a call from like the hiring manager lady or whatever of the temp agency, and she was like, I'm just calling to let you know that your position has been terminated because you've exceeded the maximum number of write-up points. And I was just like, okay, thank you, and just hung up. So those are my 2 jobs that I either was fired from or quit. Other than that, I have a really good relationship with pretty much everywhere else that I've worked, and I still talk to a lot of those people, still talk to the owners and everything. So, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Actually, you know what? I think I did quit one other job, but that was like it wasn't my first job. One of my very first jobs was at a ski resort when I was 15 as a busboy, because you would only work like 4-hour shifts because I was under the age of 16, and you could only work from like 4 to 7 on school nights. So like I'd get out of school at like 2:30, and then my dad would drive me to the ski resort. It was like a 15-minute drive from our house. And then I would work for 3 hours, and then I would go snowboarding until 10 o'clock at night. And my dad would come pick me up because I could go snowboarding for free because I worked there. So that was just that was the only reason I even worked there. I didn't care. I didn't need money. I was a freshman in high school. I just wanted to go snowboarding. So I haven't snowboarded in so long. Probably my senior year of high school was the last time I snowboarded. So it's like 15 years ago. It's crazy. But yeah, so I worked there until the season ended, and then I left. And then I worked there again my senior year of high school, but I was in the bakery, and that was actually really fun. I actually really enjoyed that season. But those were the only times I worked there, and that was fine. It was all amicably left, and finished out the seasons, whatever. But the other job that I think I quit this job was it was at a buffet restaurant, and I was like 16, I think, at the time. And the reason why I quit that job, or no, I had that job when I was 15 too. And then I turned 16, and I basically just walked in the office and quit because I knew I worked at this movie theater for multiple different owners, so just keep that in mind. Same movie theater, just multiple different owners. The first time I worked there, I was 16 in high school. That was when I learned, or no, I did not learn projection then, but I worked there. My brother worked there. He was a projectionist. And then they had closed down for something else, or the owners that were running it at the time were really bad people, and they ended up going bankrupt, basically. They didn't pay bills, all this stuff. It was crazy. Came to work one day and there were just chains on the doors, so it's like, I guess I'm not working today. But then they reopened again like 2 months later. Someone else bought the business and was trying to run a theater in it. And that was when I was like, I want to be a projectionist. So my brother taught me projection, and I was there until I graduated high school. But like I said, I knew I was going to get that job because my brother vouched for me, basically, and they had all knew me already. Because some of the original managers came back. Well, they were actually the ones that had called me and asked me if I wanted to come back, and then I had said yes, I want to come back, but I would love to be trained in projection, or I would love to have my brother train me in projection. And they were like, no problem. So I went back and my brother taught me projection, and I did projection all the rest of the way through high school. And then obviously I went to college in Florida. I won't say where I went. I don't really like to talk about it, to be honest, but if you know anything about schools in Florida that have to do with technical educations, you might have an idea of where I went. It was a 13-month-long program. At the time, it is longer now, but I enjoyed it. I definitely had a lot of fun in Florida. My parents and my brother and sister call it my year-long party, because it essentially was. We just partied the whole time. I mean, we were a bunch of technical college kids going to a school where we could like play loud music and, you know, play with mixing consoles and all kinds of crazy stuff. So, and we just had crazy hours. Like the school was 24/7, so I could go to school overnight. Like I actually had 3 labs. Our labs and lectures were 4-hour long, like blocks. So like you would have a lecture for 4 hours, but you would get like multiple breaks. There'd be like 2 30-minute breaks in them. But they were 4 hours long, and you would usually have a lecture and a lab in the same day. So you'd usually go to school for like 8 hours a day. That's why it was such a short program. Like I got done in 13 months. Like I technically have an associate's degree in 13 months. Not that it's really, I mean, it's claimed that they're an accredited college, but I don't know. I don't really think anyone would take that. Oh, damn it. I need to go over there to that watchtower. It looks like that's the way across. Well, let's go hit this watchtower first, and then I'll go back and hit that other one. But yeah, so, but there would be times, like, depending on the month, you either only had one class or you had 2 different classes. So then you would also have 2 different labs. And one of the months, I had 3 labs that were back to back. So it was 12 straight hours of school, 12 straight hours of lab, which we were just, you know, either mixing or, you know, doing something, whatever. But it was literally overnight. It was my first one was from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. My second one was from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And then my third one was from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. So I was up all night long at school. It was crazy. I only had to do that once. And the only reason for that was because my class, like my group was just so big that like we had so many lab groups, and it's just how it worked out. If you had a smaller lab group, that kind of stuff never happened. Or a smaller class, that kind of stuff never happened. Because you would only have like 1 or 2 lab groups. My class had 6 different lab groups because you had 6 kids in a lab group. So my class had like 36 kids, or they weren't really kids, 36 people in it, ranging from, you know, 18 years old to 30 years old. So like, it was very diverse. That school is not your traditional school for sure. It was a very, very diverse group of people that go there. And I think the reasoning for that is just because of the industry that it's in. And, you know, I mean, colleges are just like that. You could go to college, any college, and there could be way older people in your class than the majority of the age group. Because there's people that go to college way late in their life, and that's totally fine. I think that's great for them. But yeah, some of like the really good friends that I had made that were in my lab group were already almost 30 when we were there, and I was like 18. Like one of my best friends was like in his late 20s. Well, I wouldn't say he was my best friend, but he was a good friend of mine. We would, you know, we would like hang out outside of class, and my whole lab group hung out together outside of class. And there was a couple older guys in my lab group, and then the other guys were all my age. Like 4 of us were 18, 19, and then the other 2 were in their late 20s. But they were both really cool, and we still, you know, hung out together a lot. Alright, I need to go down here and get this upgrade. But I don't regret going there. I just sometimes wish I didn't, if that makes sense. But I wouldn't have wanted, like, there's also the fact that, like, if I didn't go there, you know, I wouldn't have probably moved back home and gone back to the movie theater and then have met my wife, because I met my wife at that movie theater. So it's just like those kinds of things, like, that I think about. Like, if I never went there, would all of this stuff still happen? Would I have still had my boys? Would I still have met my wife? You know, like, those are the kinds of things that I think about. Is that everything? Upgrades? Yeah, all watchtowers slit. Nice. Okay, cool. Well, let's... see if I can just yeet myself off this cliff and drive away. Oh, lots of damage, but I want to go down here and hit this thing. There's another trailer store. This actually went really quick, to be honest with you. So no, that's my little story time. Learned some things about me, about my life, you know. I don't know if that's exciting for you to hear, but they're easy things for me to talk about, especially past experiences that I've had. One of my biggest like things of advice that I would give to like the young employees when I was manager at that movie theater was like especially employees that were just graduating from high school, was like to do something, go to a college and do something that you know you can get a job in and that you know you'll enjoy. Because I enjoy the tech side of things and I love doing that stuff, but finding a job in it is very, very hard, especially in the area that I live, because I don't live in like a very huge or a very large city. I mean, it's, you know, it's not small, but it's you know, it's not a big city by any means. We don't have skyscrapers. Like, I literally, downtown in the city I live in, town I live in, does not have any skyscrapers. I mean, it has buildings, like 4 or 5 story buildings, but no skyscrapers. So, you know, it's pretty small town living, and I didn't pick up those. I'd like to, because I think those are like the only ones I haven't picked up. Recyclable and confiscated truck. But like, they seem like they're a bitch to get to. How much time do we have? Yeah, I don't even know that I could get to them in the time, but I'll try, I guess. So we only really have like 5 more minutes or so. There's also some people that I spent a lot of time with in Florida, and honestly, I don't know what happened to them. Like, this one guy in particular, he was my age, he had a really young kid when we were there, like with his girlfriend, you know, being 18, having a child. And like one of my best friends, when we moved down there, is one of my best friends from high school went to the same college, and we moved down there together, had an apartment together and everything. He had ended up getting a girl pregnant before we left for school to move to Florida. And his son that they had together, and they're married and they're still together, but I don't know how well that's going. But their son is gonna be 15 in April of 2024. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, I can't believe that. Like, there's a picture of me holding him as a baby on the beach in Florida. It's wild. But yeah, so he had a kid that my other friend, not my roommate, best friend that I was just talking about, my other friend that I was originally talking about, that had a kid with his girlfriend. I spent a lot of time with him, and he didn't actually go for the same thing. He was a similar program, but he was in like the more recording side, where I was in the more like live production side. But they were two different degrees. But you had all your general education together with like the recording arts people. How do I get over there? I'm not really sure. So like I met him in like all the general education classes, and then we just kind of still, you know, hung out together the whole rest of the time we were there. But he was struggling like mentally, and yeah, and I know he ended up taking leave of absence for a period of time. I don't know. I know his family wasn't very well off. I know all the money he had to go to this school, which was not a cheap school by any means, was loans. So like I know he had a lot of loans in his name. I don't know. I don't know, and I say this may be a trigger warning, but I honestly don't know that he's even alive. I haven't heard from him in forever. He's not on Facebook anymore. Like, I don't know what happened to him. And that's a real shame, because he was a really nice guy. I hope he's still out there somewhere, but I don't know. I think he got into drugs pretty bad, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he's still alive. Alright, there's that one. Let's get to this last thing, which I believe we can get to it by going through here. Looks like. I don't know how I'm going to get over there, but I guess we'll find out. It's crazy. I look back on that time living in Florida, and I just think about, like, it's just so crazy to me. Like, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I love that I like went away to school, and like my school was like a solid year round. It's like I didn't have like a summer break or anything. I mean, we did have a summer break, but it was only like a week long. And I don't think I came home for the summer break. I came home for Easter, I believe. I don't think I came home for a summer break. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, we had short breaks, like week-long breaks, but we didn't have, you know, longer than that. But yeah, I just think about that, like, I don't know, like, my mom did cry whenever they, like, because we drove down, obviously. We drove all our stuff down to U-Haul. We had our cars that we drove down. And, probably ought to just do this because it's right here. This is a modded 750, so I can attach the scout trailer, FYI, if you did not know that. But typically the F750 cannot attach scout trailers, so just want to mention that. But anyway. Whoa, stop. I am going to end this episode right here, but I think we got most of the tasks. Everything is defogged. We got all the watchtowers. We got all the upgrades. So we just have to work on clearing out tasks and contracts. But back to what I was saying here. Shit, what was I saying? God damn it, I always do this to myself. I got too ahead of myself thinking about trying to end the episode. I can't remember what I was talking about for the life of me. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. I don't really know where I was going. But whatever it was, it probably really wasn't that important. If you leave a comment and tell me what it was, I'll finish it in the comment, but I don't really know. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you in the next episode. Have a good one.